Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mostly From Scratch. I am your host, Mr. Munchies, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and a special thanks to my YouTube subscribers. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make another Cajun classic, gumbo. Alright, so let's zoom in, we'll go over our ingredient list, and we will get started. Okay, our ingredient list today will be, you're going to need a 1 pound or 14 ounce, however it comes, package of andouille sausage. Now I've already cooked this off and I'll tell you why in a second. You're going to need 2 quarts of chicken stock. I make my own, but if you don't make your own, you can buy it in the store. You are going to need a pound of shrimp. You're going to need approximately 2 cups of chopped okra. This is fresh, you could use frozen. 1 cup of chopped onion. That's about 2/3 of a cup of chopped poblanos. Now I use poblanos instead of bell peppers. You can use bell peppers if you want. We've got a 1/2 cup of chopped celery. That's about, it's 2 cloves, so that's about a tablespoon of diced garlic. 1/2 tablespoon of parsley. This is dried. If you're going to use fresh, you might want to use a little less. 4 tablespoons of butter. 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 1 can of either crushed or diced tomato. These happen to be diced, or you can use fresh tomato if you want, and some Creole seasoning. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is cook off our andouille sausage. If you can't find andouille, you could always use like a kielbasa. The reason you want to cook it off is you want to have the fat from the sausage in your pot, because now what we're going to do is we're going to add our tomatoes and our okra to that and get those cooked down. Alright, so we're going to add our okra, and we're going to add our tomatoes. Give them a stir. Now you're going to want to let them simmer anywhere from, I don't know, we'll say 10 minutes to start out with, see how they look. If it needs to go a little bit longer, then we'll go a little bit longer. So I'm going to set this at about a medium low, number 2, number 3 on the high burner. Alright, so when these get cooked down, I'll come back and we'll move on to the next step, right? There we go. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Our okra and tomato have simmered. Our okra is just starting to get a little tender. See what that looks like there. Now if you're using frozen okra, it probably won't take as long. So now what I'm going to do is transfer this into a separate bowl. Set that to the side. Now what we're going to do is make our roux. Now I've showed you how to make a roux before in a couple of different videos. At the end of this video I'll put a link on there to the etouffee video that shows you how to make a roux as well. But this one is going to be a little bit different than the etouffee. With the etouffee, we brought our roux up to almost a peanut butter color, nice peanut buttery brown. This one we're going to take it a little bit farther. We want to go past the peanut butter brown and bring it into a milk chocolate stage. Now you want to do this on probably a medium low heat, about number 3, because you don't want to scorch your roux. That'll ruin your whole dish. It's a process of bringing it up to color at a slow rate. It should bubble just a little bit as you're mixing it around, but don't rush it, okay? So we added our 4 tablespoons of butter. These are melting down. Once they get melted down, I'm going to add the all-purpose flour, about half, 50% of the time, and keep it stirring. And this is the most important part of making a good roux, is you have to keep it stirring. You can't walk away from this or else you'll lose it. And once again, that'll ruin your whole dish. All right, so my butter's melted down. I'm going to put about half of the flour in there, stir it around. And a roux is your thickener. This is what's going to add some density to your dish. Get the other half in there. All right, let me show you what this looks like. See, it's already got a bit of a golden color to it, plus a little bit of red from the tomatoes. But we're going to take it way past this. So I'm going to work on this. I'm going to come back a couple times, show you as it goes through its stages. And then once this is done, we'll move on with the rest of the ingredients. All right, we are just about at the peanut butter stage here. If you can see this, that took about 7 minutes to get there. So I'm going to keep going with this until we get to our milk chocolate stage. All right, so hang in there. All right, take a look at this. We are getting even darker now. See that on the bottom of the pan? We have passed the peanut butter stage and we are on our way to milk chocolate now. I'm at about the 13-minute mark here, so we're going to go about another 5 to 8 minutes, see what it looks like, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, this has been about 17-18 minutes now. I want to show you what this looks like. We're just about at that, well, I'll call this the milk chocolate stage. And I did have to turn my heat down just a little bit as it got darker. You see that? I'm not sure if it's as dark on camera as it is in person, but this is almost like a milk chocolate kind of color. Now this is going to add color to your dish. It's going to add a little bit of flavor. Right now, if you could smell it, it has a bit of almost a toasted, nutty kind of smell. It's not going to reflect much in your dish, but it'll be there in the background. Alright, so the next step, we're going to add our aromatics. Celery, pepper, and our onion. Now, this is called a trinity. The only difference between a trinity and a mirepoix is celery, onion, and carrots. The trinity is celery, onion, and pepper. So it's just the difference between the carrots and the pepper. Alright, we're still on a medium-low heat. And as soon as these vegetables hit it, now you're getting a bit of almost kind of like a coffee kind of smell to it. So we're going to let these simmer now for probably about, I don't know, 7 to 10 minutes. Let them get a little bit soft, and then we'll add our garlic, because I don't want that to cook off as much right now because it's a lot wetter than these, or I should say a lot softer than the vegetables that are in here. Yeah, you get the real nice, almost like a coffee bean kind of smell. Alright, I'm sorry about that weird break, but my battery ran out. So let me show you where we're at. This has been about 8 minutes with our vegetables in our pot. And everything is getting soft. Our onions are becoming a little translucent. So now we're going to add our garlic. We're going to put our tomatoes and okra back in here. We're going to add our sausage. Our chicken stock. And our parsley. Turn our heat back up probably to about a medium to medium high for a few minutes. Get it to a boil. Now I'm not going to add the shrimp or any seasoning at the moment. One, I don't want my shrimp to overcook and just become mush. And I want it to be hot before I add my dry Cajun seasoning. Alright, so we're going to let this come to a boil for a few minutes and then I will be back. Okay, now that our gumbo has come to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat down to about medium-low. I'm going to go ahead and add my shrimp carefully. Give that a quick little stir. And I'm going to add, I'm going to say, for now, I'm going to add 1/2 tablespoon of some Creole seasoning. This is the one I'm using. Stir that in. And we're going to let this simmer for probably about 10 minutes. So I'm going to cook some rice to go along with this. And when it's done, we'll be back, give it a taste. Alright, so what do you think about that? It's been about 7-8 minutes. My rice is done. I just used the instant rice. But this is our gumbo. Grab a spoon here. See if I can keep this in frame because the bottom of the bowl is very hot. You can see the steam coming off of that. But our shrimp is done. Our vegetables are tender. We got our sausage. Now this is pretty much like a soup. Now the longer, of course, the longer you let it cook, it'll get a little bit thicker from the okra and your roux. But if you want it thicker than this, you can add an extra tablespoon of butter and flour to your roux. If you want it like a stew, you could double that butter and flour and it'll give you a nice thick stew. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to give this a taste, just a little taste, because this is hot. Check my seasoning. Oh, it's perfect. This is one of those recipes where you can, kind of customize your seasoning, but the way I did it for me is perfect. The andouille sausage has some heat. The poblanos have a little bit of heat, plus the Creole seasoning has a little bit of heat, and all together, it came out really good. So, I'm going to eat some dinner. Alright, so give it a try. Let me know what you think. If you have some kind of twist on this, some people use chicken instead of shrimp. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Leave something in the comments below. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like my videos, instead of giving me a thumbs down, leave something in the comments so I can improve on what I'm doing here. Alright? So if you're watching this on Facebook, share it with your friends. come on over to YouTube, become a subscriber. If you're watching this on YouTube, once again, share it with everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll go ahead and put a link here for subscription, and another one somewhere around here to take you to the etouffee video if you want to check that one out. So that'll do it for another episode of Mostly from Scratch. I am your host, Mr. Munchies. Everybody plate up and chow down.